been a rough few months for those of you looking forward to new Elden Ring information. God forbid a gameplay reveal. It's been 9 months since the Elden Ring announcement and we have yet to get gameplay. We're really living off a lot of rumors, and here is another rumor coming from very reputable Omni, who has been revealing supposed details on the game and recently revealed some more features of the game, and I want to go over that and give you guys my general thoughts on the game now that we're heading into March, and the game was originally rumored to come out in June, and I don't think that release window will be hit. That was never really necessarily confirmed by From Software, that was just the word going around, but nonetheless, I don't think we'll be getting it in June. However, outside of Elden Ring, I do want to highlight some other games that have been revealed for the PlayStation 4, some pretty cool games at that. Curse of the Dead Gods adds a PS4 version, Hardspace Shipbreaker has added a PlayStation 4 version, and then a new Ben 10 game is coming to consoles and PC this fall. We'll talk all of those at the end of this video, but first up, let's talk all about Elden Ring, and again, it's been quite a while since we've heard any official information from Software and Bandai Namco, the publisher of the game, and I'm starting to believe that this might not end up being a 2020 game. Hopefully, it is a 2020 game. I mean, E3 is right around the corner at this point. It's, what, 3 months away? That's not a long time away, and you would think that this game would definitely have a presence there, as Bandai Namco has traditionally had a significant presence at E3, and you would think they would bring Elden Ring along with them. Omni, who has been revealing supposed details on the game, recently revealed that Elden Ring will feature dynamic wildlife alongside dynamic enemy placements and weather. These elements will make the game feel more alive than in many other open-world RPGs, and when talking about Elden Ring, it seems like an imperative with all of these rumors has been like, yes, this will be a big RPG, however, it's also going to be a very alive world where it doesn't feel like it's just an RPG with a lot of empty spaces. That's a big issue a lot of these colossal open world RPGs have, where a lot of them are really big and just scale. However, does the entire world feel alive? Cyberpunk 2077 is going for something very similar, where they're trying to increase the density of the game so every little nook and cranny of the game feels more important rather than just being empty space. And it looks like Elden Ring is going for a similar approach. Omni specifically noted dynamic day and night cycles, lighting, weather, I'll even throw you a bone and say wildlife, enemies out in the open world that change their positioning, both big and small, things that make the world feel like it lives and breathes and doesn't just exist as your playground, and while they're relatively minor when looked at as a singular element, you start to take all of these elements and put them together, and ultimately what you have is something that again shares the same DNA as past games but culminates into something a little bit different. And that's the real importance of all of these different elements. I could say something like dynamic day and night cycles or whatever, and you would just look at that singularly and be like, okay, that's cool, but is that gonna drastically alter the gaming experience? No, not necessarily, but then you've got weather effects, then you've got wildlife, all of these alterations being coupled together, and this being a dynamic and living world, and these elements all come together and make it a more immersive experience. And if you look at From Software's game, what has one element that they've done so well in the overarching history of their games, that is immersion. You can look at any one of their games. It doesn't even have to be the Souls games. You can look at a VR title like Dresine, and that game was incredibly immersive, and I feel like with Elden Ring, with all of the elements that are being rumored for the game, again, no concrete information, given that From Software has been so tight-lipped about the game, however, with all of these rumors, they are hearkening to one point, and that's that this world is going to be very alive, and even more so than a game like Bloodborne that I thought was incredibly immersive, I think Elden Ring is going to be on a completely different level, and that is incredibly exciting. Speaking of Bloodborne, I know a lot of you guys do want Bloodborne 2, but at this point, From Software looks to have all their eggs in the Elden Ring basket, and it doesn't look like Bloodborne 2 is going to be happening anytime soon. Omni also touched upon a possible Bloodborne sequel on PlayStation 5. While From Software has multiple teams that work on different projects, Bloodborne 2 is not in active development, and it is not even in line to be in development, so if the game is happening, it won't be anytime soon. Not surprising considering Elden Ring is set to be the biggest From Software game yet, and if you're trying to do Elden Ring and Bloodborne 2 concurrently, I just don't think that's the smartest idea in the world, so I'd rather that they completely finish up with Elden Ring, do whatever project that you want to do in the near future, and if you want to go back to that Souls-like action-oriented experience, if you want to do Bloodborne 2 as a PlayStation 5 exclusive, by all means, that would be a huge game. But at this point, I would rather them be incredibly focused on Elden Ring. Omni noted, from works on multiple projects all the time. As of right now, the game isn't in development or in line to be in development, so in the event that Bloodborne sequel does happen, it's not happening anytime soon. So if it's not even in line to be in development right now, that means it's a ways away if it's ever going to happen. But From Software, if they have multiple projects in the works, expect some of them to be the colossal Elden Ring type of experience, and that's probably their primary project, and do expect them to work on some smaller experiences. Dresine, I thought, was a very compelling PlayStation VR title. I think there are other IPs that they can work on. I think they can create new IPs. I know everybody would love to see a return to Armored Core. Who knows what they're gonna do in the future, but at this point, it doesn't look like Bloodborne 2 is happening. However, the idea of a Demon's Souls remake is a little bit different, given the fact that the rumbling is that Bluepoint might be working on the Demon's Souls remake, and they have the foundation of Demon's Souls already in place. So if From Software is just consulting on that project, that's a far less of an undertaking than them developing a full-on remake in-house. So that is a little bit different than completely doing a Bloodborne 2, so bear that in mind if you suddenly think this eliminates the possibility of a Demon's Souls remake. That isn't necessarily the case. But as far as Elden Ring goes, that's still in active development, of course, and hopefully it's progressing along, because these rumors are getting me very excited. At this point, we're just waiting on some official information about the game, an official gameplay reveal, and I don't know if that's going to happen before E3, and I wouldn't be opposed to the idea of doing the big gameplay reveal, doing the big information drop at E3, and then parlaying that with a release date announcement, and maybe the game comes out September, October. It's going to sell incredibly well. This isn't a game that's going to be diluted by the PlayStation 5 and next Xbox. People are going to buy the game, and you look at it, Dark Souls 2 came out after the release of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and people still bought that in droves, and Bandai Namco turned around and then remastered the game and released it again for those platforms like a year later. They can easily do that with Elden Ring. Bandai Namco are some of the masters of remasters. They do it all the time. Ni no Kuni, all of the remasters they've put out with the Souls games. I mean, Souls has just been re-released to death. They're kind of like Square Enix in that regard. Nothing against that, because I think a lot of people would ultimately double dip on Elden Ring. But nonetheless, the information so far and rumors do look relatively compelling. Alright, moving on from that, I do want to highlight a couple of interesting titles that are noted to be coming to the PlayStation 4 in the future. Roguelike action game Curse of the Dead Gods, which launched for PC via Steam Early Access earlier for $14.99, will come to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One alongside its full PC release. Publisher Focus Home Interactive and developer Pastech Games have announced. Focus Home putting out some really cool games, this one adding to it. An overview of the game is listed on its Steam page, noting you seek untold riches, eternal life, divine powers. It leads to this accursed temple, a seemingly infinite labyrinth of bottomless pits, deadly traps, and monsters. Your greed will lead you to death, but that is not an escape. Rise to fight again, delve deeper again, defy the malignant deities that linger in this place, battle through hordes of enemies in dark, cavernous passages filled with traps and secrets of all sorts, fire-spewing statues, explosives, hidden spikes, and worse. Collect mystical relics and an arsenal of weapons to make yourself unstoppable. Corruption builds in with you every step. Encourage or ignore it, but each powerful curse can be a double-edged sword. The game's key features note a skill-based roguelite exploring a cruel dark temple made of endless rooms and corridors. Swords, spears, bows, guns, wield these and many more. Unique curses influence each attempt, putting a twist on every action. Dozens of enemies with powerful champions and deadly bosses to face off again. So $14.99, currently available in Steam Early Access. A couple of Steam user reviews are in already, 18 reviews, majority of them being positive, 88% positive, so that is a good sign of the game going forward. Also announced, formerly known to be coming out on PC, Hardspace Shipbreaker adds a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One version. PC version due out via Steam Early Access this summer. And Hardspace Shipbreaker, the recently announced sandbox space simulator developed by Blackbird Interactive, will launch for PS4 and Xbox One in addition to PC. Publisher Focus Home Interactive also announced this one. Key features of this game note experience daily life as a blue-collar spaceship salvager, cut and destroy at will within a next-generation physics simulation, upgrade tools, and unlock new perks to take on harder contracts. So this one probably won't be out on PS4 for quite a while, given the fact that it's only hitting Steam Early Access in the summer, and then obviously it has to make the progress through Early Access, and then it can ultimately be released on the PS4, because they don't necessarily do a lot of Early Access programs. Dream was more of an exception rather than the rules, but still, this looks like an interesting title, and it will be coming to the PS4 probably later in 2020, maybe early 2021. And lastly, I do want to note that that a new Ben 10 game is coming to consoles and PC this fall. We don't know much about it, but publisher Outright Games, in partnership with Cartoon Network and developer PHL Collective, Clusterpuck99 have announced a new game set in the world of Ben 10 due out for consoles and PC this fall. The game, which is still to be titled, follows the recent announcement of Ben 10 vs. the Universe, the movie, which will premiere worldwide this fall and is the first movie of the newest iteration of Ben 10. They noted, "We are thrilled to be working with Cartoon Network again to create a brand new Ben 10 game," said Outright Games CEO Terry Malham in a press release. "Returning to the world of Ben 10 is something we've been keen to do for a while. The response from fans has been incredibly positive, and we're so glad to work with Cartoon Network and continue to develop this ongoing partnership." Of course, Ben 10 has seen a couple of different iterations, but this is a franchise I'm relatively nostalgic with, maybe not necessarily as much as a SpongeBob that I talk about all the time with that remake. But nonetheless, for a lot of other people, Ben 10 is going to be rather notable, so it's cool to see another game coming to major platforms later this fall. And that's going to conclude this video. Again, while we're not getting some official concrete Elden Ring information, the rumors coming out are sounding pretty amazing. I do think this is going to be a remarkable game to round out this generation. It's really going to be one of the final games of this generation, and this generation is concluding on a bang. Last of Us Part 2, Elden Ring, Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Man, 2020 is as good as ever for the PlayStation 4, and it's concluding the generation with an absolute bang. Curse of the Dead Gods adds a PS4 and Xbox One version. That's pretty cool. Hardspace Shipbreaker has added that as well, and a new Ben 10 game is coming to consoles and PC this fall. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.